Well, what it means for someone to be drowning is that they cannot breathe because there's water in the way. And so if you understand that, then you really can think about what the signs are of drowning so that you can recognize them. The bad news is that there's some people who just sink, like little kids. When they drown, they just go down. And so that's it. You really just have to be watching them constantly. The older people might also do the same thing. Someone my age might be having a heart attack and then just sink. And the other person who sinks is someone often who's been drinking. Because alcohol does things to your heart that makes you, when you start to drown, just kind of quit. But the point is that what you have is just a very few minutes, if that, to recognize that someone's drowning, because you really can only go without air for a very short period of time. So the signs are that you are trying to get air. And so if you've been swimming along, or if you've been just playing around, looking around, and you're starting to drown, suddenly you know, instinctively, you just got to try to get air in. And so that means you stick your head up, you put it back, because that's the best position to breathe in. And you cannot shout for help by that point, because you don't have the air, the breath to do that, because you want your lungs to be inflated. You don't know this, but that's what you are doing, is to keep that chest inflated so that you can float better. When you yell out, you sink. So you cannot do that. You might, in the very beginning of this phase, start flailing some, again, trying to push that water out of the way, trying to get up out of that water. And if you were someone underneath looking, you'd actually be seeing the person is maybe kind of like climbing steps, because they are literally trying to climb out of that water. So this is all happening within seconds. So that's why you got to watch people who are in the water. Dry drowning is a, dare I say it, a social media concept. Ooh, it is not a medical concept. It is not a reality. It is someone seeing, my kid was in the water at some point, and then my kid died, and that therefore they're related. But that's not true. Because if you were in the water and you had a drowning episode, that means you got water, you started having trouble breathing, you were coughing, spluttering, and then if it was that of drowning, you would go on to get worse. You don't suddenly come out, look fine, eat your sandwich, walk home. It's not like that. You may slowly get worse, or you might, as we know, people just die right there. So it's not that subtle. And an observant parent would know that their kids continuing to have trouble. They wouldn't just take them home and put them to bed.
I did not know that. See, that's good.
Okay.
Have you heard of the term? What is
so
it?
my point being, let me add that my point being, if that child gets in trouble later on, people got to think there was something that caused that. This was not a drowning. They got to think smarter.